This is dralvin.com, the business of wisdom, where world leaders and thinkers do come to chat. This extraordinary young lady, Linda Goff, has been featured in Prevention and Women's World magazines, as well as NBC's Today Show. She has a very powerful new book entitled The Skinny Budget Diet: Weight Less, Save More, Look Good. First of all, give me your personal story, your personal journey with weight loss.
Yeah, it's a long story that I can make shorter. I was morbidly obese for over 20 years, and the way I always approached weight loss was that, I live in the United States. We've got very talented doctors and scientists, so I was confident that one day someone would invent a pill or a shake or, some sort of a product that would allow me to lose 150 pounds without a lot of work on my part. So I always wanted to kind of buy my way out of the problem, and it was a sort of a very childlike mentality. I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted it now. So I was game for every get thin quick scheme, every infomercial I saw on television. I had my credit card out, ready to order. Probably spent thousands of dollars on different products. And, some of the weight loss plans were healthy. I tried Weight Watchers for a while, and, those are terrific plans, but I didn't have the maturity at those moments to really stick with it. If I didn't lose 5 or 10 pounds in a week, I considered it a failure, and I quit. So it was, I was on a lot of plans, spent a lot of money, and had probably the most extreme thing I tried to do was have gastric bypass surgery. I had a body mass index that was high enough that I qualified for the surgery. I was double the weight that I should have been for being 5'8". I was over 300 pounds. So I qualified with my weight, but my insurance company said I wasn't unhealthy enough. I wasn't diabetic yet. I didn't have heart disease yet. And so they came back and pretty much told me that I needed to keep trying on my own. And at the time, it was incredibly discouraging. But looking back, it was really a gift from God because, again, I wasn't in the right place to put in the hard work. I wanted, the product to do all the work, and I was just going to sit back and watch my body get smaller. And I had to let that go and really approach weight loss with the patience and the wisdom of an adult rather than the immaturity of a child. And that was really the difference between, the weight loss plan that I started in March of 2007, started it with prayer, and really for the first time ever gave myself some time to just lose a pound or two a week, to see where the Lord was going to lead this journey. And, it was sort of the day that I say my bottom hit bottom. It just required a lot of prayer and a lot of support from the people around me.
Okay, let's go over some of the specifics of what you just mentioned. Tell me about the adult versus child mentality that you were struggling with. Help me to better understand. Be more specific as what you actually are saying.
Well, and, I think a lot of times what we see in the media can lead to some of these issues. We watch television shows where we see people, that are losing 10 or 15 pounds a week, and we think, oh, I can do that at home. Well, if you have a job and a family and, commitments in the community, you probably can't spend, 5 or 6 hours in the gym every day. And so it's really just seeing what the world has out there and wanting that for ourselves. And it is a lot like a child in a toy store. We see what's out there and we want that for ourselves. And it's really, I think, a willingness to be stubborn. And, children sometimes when things aren't going well, they quit and they want to move on to the next toy or the next adventure. And I had to let that go and just wake up every single morning stubborn. And that's the best way to describe it. There were times where I would be eating the right foods and the right portion sizes, but I might go 2-3 weeks without the scale moving. And the child like me from the past would have quit at that moment and said, oh, this isn't working. Why am I even doing this? It's just stressing me out. I'm going to eat whatever I want and just forget about this. And so when you're approaching weight loss like an adult, you realize at that moment when the scale isn't moving that you're at an intersection, and you can choose. Are you going to be stubborn? Are you going to stick with the plan and see where it takes you, or are you going to quit? And really, I think approaching weight loss like an adult is when you recognize those intersections for what they are. It's a test. And are you going to pray for wisdom and strength and keep pushing forward? And, the days when I would do that, when I would, decide, okay, the scale is not giving me good news. I haven't lost weight in 2 weeks, but you know what? I'm going to keep doing this. It would be just a day or two later that the scale would show that I'd lost 2 pounds or 3 pounds. So it was amazing how that would pay off, how those, I call it sort of a crisis of faith, where you've got to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to keep pushing forward, or am I going to quit? And, this is the time of the year where a lot of people have made those New Year's resolutions and they're starting to struggle. The first couple of weeks feel pretty easy. You're motivated. The weight's coming off quickly. And it's usually about 3 weeks into a weight loss plan when we start to have, that crisis of faith where we're at that intersection and we have to choose. Am I going to be stubborn? Am I going to push forward even though I'm not getting good news today, or am I going to quit?
One of the things that I did recently in order for me to lose substantial weight, and I'm in agreement with you, I made a statement to myself as I was out exercising. I would say, Lord, deliver me from quitting, that through my not quitting, I may deliver others. And so I developed an attitude of quitting. So you're saying one of the things that you have to do is be consistent and be determined that as you start this programming, quitting is not an option.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's really, I think it comes down to what is your motivation? What is the reason that you're wanting to lose the weight? And when I was interviewing people and writing the Skinny Budget Diet book, I heard some really interesting stories, motivations of why people were wanting to lose weight. And if your motivation is worldly, if it's based on being a certain size or looking a certain way when you walk into your class reunion, you've got a motivation that's built on sand. It's not a strong foundation. It's not going to last. And, even myself, I'd started so many weight loss plans because someone hurt my feelings. And, you can't take a long journey built, on a guilt trip or on someone hating you, or hating the way you look. It's just not a motivation that can sustain you for a long journey. So the first thing that when people pick up the Skinny Budget Diet and they read, one of the first chapters is that you've got to find a motivation that's going to stick with you through this entire journey. For me, my motivation was my marriage. I had pledged, to love my husband in sickness and in health, but I was choosing sickness when I was eating 5,000 calories a day. It wasn't fair to my husband, and he was a terrific man. There wasn't one day where he told me, you know what, you're too big, you need to lose weight. Every day he told me he loved me, but I felt so unattractive, and I knew this wasn't fair to my husband. He deserved better. He deserved to have a wife that really enjoyed intimacy and enjoyed that aspect of marriage. And at 300 pounds, I felt so unattractive that I was robbing my husband of having a full and complete marriage. And, there's probably women listening today that have a story similar to mine. We get so wrapped up in how we look and, oh, yeah, don't touch me there because I have a really fat belly. We have all those things in our head. The lights have got to be out. We have all those things because we feel so unattractive. And that was really my motivation for weight loss. And you know what? The love of your spouse and that pledge you made before the Lord to love each other in sickness and health is an excellent motivation, and it will stay with you every single step of the way.
As you know, there are many other books on this subject in the marketplace today. What is your approach in the Skinny Budget Diet?
Yeah, it was interesting. I had a couple of things going on, and I don't think it's uncommon. I think there are a lot of people out there like this. I had a fear of numbers. So not only did I not want to get on the scale because I didn't want to see how big I was, I didn't want to see the months of hard work I had in front of me, I also had a fear of numbers when it came to our personal finances and our debt and how much we were spending on food every month. So I had, what's commonly known as the ostrich syndrome, where I had my head in the sand, didn't want to look at the numbers, and I had to address both of those issues. And that's kind of where the budget comes in with the skinny budget diet, is instead of spending money on get thin quick schemes, I was going to look at our family budget and figure out a way to cook more meals at home, eat less fast food. That was the first way that we started to not only lose weight but lower our food budget, because I could cook my entire family a delicious, low-calorie meal for the cost of one value meal in the drive-thru. So we saw a lot of savings in that area, which was a good thing, and let me tell you why. When you are in the grocery store and you're wanting to, buy healthier foods, maybe get organic fruits and vegetables, spend more money on lean proteins, you're going to spend more money at the grocery store. So you're going to need that savings, that money that you're not spending in the drive-thru anymore. You're going to need that for the grocery store. And it's so funny. I speak with people that don't struggle with weight, and they're like, well, duh, you're eating less food. Isn't that going to automatically lower your food budget? And you would think that would be true, but actually what happens in the grocery store, when you're in the middle section of the store and you're buying all those processed, boxed foods, they're less expensive than healthier foods. And, if you look in the shopping carts of the people around you, if you've got a cart filled with fruits and vegetables and low-fat dairy and lots of lean protein, you're in the minority. Most people at the grocery store, they're buying, the canned and boxed processed food. So that was sort of a sticker shock moment for my husband and I when we were shopping, was that our grocery store budget went up, but the money we saved by not eating out so often, by avoiding the vending machines, more than made up for it. So we were able to not only lower our size, and my husband lost 50 pounds along with me. So this is sort of a family thing. We were able to lower the number on the scale and also lower the amount of money we were spending on food. And it was just a really neat thing to see both of those things happen. And what I loved is that when you have success in one area, it gives you the courage to take a look at another area of your life where, maybe you're making some choices that aren't as healthy as you want them to be. So anyone that made a New Year's resolution to lose weight and also get a handle on their food budget, the Skinny Budget Diet book is written for you. It will help you address both of those issues.
This is dralvin.com, the business of wisdom. This particular interview that we're hearing right now, the Skinny Budget Diet, will be featured at dralvin.com on YouTube, dralvin.com, the website, as well as Facebook, and you can tweet me at Dr. Alvin Jones. We discover wisdom one brilliant mind at a time. Tell us how to get a copy of this particular book, and tell us how to be a part of your world, Linda.
Well, I have a fun website, and I kind of created, I took a step back in time and said, okay, when I weighed 300 pounds, what sort of a website would have helped me? So at theskinnybudgetdiet.com, I've got low-fat, low-calorie comfort food recipes. So if you're ready to start losing weight and you want to eat more than just tofu and celery, you want to eat real food, visit theskinnybudgetdiet.com, get some great recipe ideas. I also write a weekly newspaper column for several newspapers, and you can check out that column, get a little extra support that way. And you can also purchase the book at theskinnybudgetdiet.com, also at Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Christian bookstores all over the nation.
Well, thank you so very much, Linda. Appreciate you sharing your personal testimony, your research, and your scholarship. And you continue to have a remarkable and amazing day, okay?
Thank you. Have a great day.